This is Scholar Saunders seeing what's current. Bit of a serious topic. We might get. I mean, I have a few serious topics that I don't want to bore you to death either. But I just want to address this particular case. This young man who fatally shot himself while filming a online video, and he went by the name of, get this, Riley Freeman. And if anybody knows the Boondocks, they know that Riley Freeman was the name of the brother of Huey Freeman and the grandson of Granddad, or I'm trying to remember his name. So I can't remember. But the late John Witherspoon played the granddad on the Boondocks. So that's just a coincidence. That's not really doesn't have much to do with it. But the idea of, let me see something here. Oh, that's good. I need a little bit more light to take away from. Hold on, let me try something else. Here. See that? That's the shadow and some more. Hold on, let me bring it back up. Okay, so try to get the lighting correct. You know, there's a little bit of technical difficulties, but no, this young man here by the name of the rapper's name was Rilo Huncho, and he had I didn't see any other videos. I didn't see any other followings. He must have had some local, rap concerts or something like that. It took place in the Virginia area in Suffolk. Um, Suffolk, people like to say. Yeah, automatic. When I thought about it, automatically came to mind was Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne had a similar incident where he shot himself in the chest. Now, if he had shot himself in the head, there would have been a lesser chance for him to be alive. You know, it would have been like this particular case right now. And we would have lost out on the genius of Lil Wayne and his greatness. And we might have not experienced what Rilo Huncho would have brought to the world. We may not have been able to experience that. But overall, I think it's it's a sad case. It's something that we should examine. It's something that we should be very aware of. I think this happens more often than some people might think. People playing with pistols and rifles, and he apparently he was waving around the barrel, and this is from the Mirror, a UK site. Apparently switching off the gun safety, pointing the weapon to his head, and pulling the trigger. Now, this could be, construed as a suicide by accident, but who knows what his intentions were. He had a loaded pistol in his hands, and he was pointing it at his head. I mean, I don't know, what is that common sense saying, this person definitely had some issues. If you're playing with weapons, this is the key. This is what my second favorite rapper of all time. This is what he is about. He is about weapon safety. Twista, the quick rapid fire rapper from Chicago. He's all about gun safety. He has his own gun range, I think, or something like that. I think he has his own pistols that are specially made. And that's what, I think a lot of young people should know. They should know how to handle a firearm. I think that, guns are good. Or maybe not good. They just are. The people behind them must be good or bad or well-trained or not in, in sync with what is going on, what's reality, what's not. That's the case that we have to be in. That's the area we have to be. I mean, it's very serious, when it comes down to people, committing suicide, either accidentally or intentionally. I mean, it's very disturbing when you realize just what the people are saying. the different ideas that people have, towards weapons, firearms, to be precise. To go on with the story, the young musician was then thrown from the view of the camera as the camera dropped. Police have not named Rilo, but have confirmed the 17-year-old died from an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head. It's a sad situation. Any way you look at it, it's a tragedy. Go on to the story. Initially, it was claimed that the clip was fake, with some speculating about how the footage was posted and if the rapper was already dead. But it appears the footage was filmed on a live stream, and a GoFundMe page was later created by the teen's heartbroken family, according to the GoFundMe page. Rilo was his mother's only child, and she took care of him the best she could. This just makes the story that much sadder. Kara Dorsey, an educator who knew the rapper and his family, shared their fundraiser on Facebook and encouraged her students to honor the legacy of their friend by continuing fulfilling the goals. All she wrote in a post on May 17th, so this was a few days ago. Just yesterday, my school family experienced a loss. While I didn't have the opportunity to meet this young man, I did meet his older cousin and a close friend today. I met them as they spent their lunch quietly walking the halls and asking staff members to share a GoFundMe to help the young man's mother lay the only child to rest. Very serious, very somber news. I don't want to get it construed as, this is ha-ha, hee-hee, playtime. This is, I wanted to start off the show, on a deeper note, a little bit more serious, more concise. So just giving that whole impression of how, young people, need to learn how to handle weapons. They need to know what to do, what not to do, how to clean their weapon, how to field strip it, how to put it together again. All these things I learned about in the Marine Corps. In the United States Marine Corps, they give you a specific instruction almost on a daily basis on how to keep your weapon in fine and shooting order, and to be, safe at all times. That's one of the key things. It goes on in the story, goes, I try to encourage them to honor the legacy of their friends and continue to being the thoughtful and polite young man they've been in my only interaction with them, to push through to graduation day and continue fulfilling their goals. I told them that while this won't ease their pain or bring him back, it will honor him and bring joy to their grieving family during this time. Very serious, very, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot, to even, report something like this, because it's just so freaking sad. That is just a sad situation, because, like I said, something happened to Lil Wayne, if he had shot himself in the head, there would be no Lil Wayne. We wouldn't have got the masterpiece he has, the Carter 2, his best-selling, I think, in the first week sale, million, Carter 3, the multiple mixtapes, The Drought, Sorry for the Wait, all of that. We would have never got it. Maybe we would have never got Nicki Minaj and Drake. Maybe we would have never gotten them. So this is a sad situation. He went out. It was a sad situation for Lil Wayne, but he lived. He had a cop that actually cared. A cop said, everybody else was running out. He rushed in and said, well, we need to get this kid, some help. We need to make sure he stays alive. And I think he even, carried him to the ambulance or something like that. And then he passed away actually a few years ago. The person who saved Lil Wayne's life. But yeah, so that's the very, sad story that could have been even worse if Wayne had died. But sadly, in this case, the young man passed away. Cousin of the rapper wrote on the fundraiser, "Hello, my aunt recently lost her 17-year-old son from a self-inflicted gun wound to the head. He was her only son. She was a single parent but took care of her son the best she could. Suicide accidental was the cause of his death. We're still trying to figure out why." Very sad. It's sad stuff. It's not, for the weak at heart. I mean, they have photos of him, using the laser, I think, on it, aimed at his brain. You know, very sad stuff. I mean, this is what you don't want as a parent. Obviously, I mean that's an obvious thing. You do not want this to happen. At whatever age. I mean that happens all the time. People younger infants and toddlers, they find their parents' gun and bang, they shoot themselves and it's over. I mean, just imagine the loss. And if in your teenage years, you're a teen, and you're using firearms, and you're not sure what you're doing. You're not really aware apparently of what you were doing, and then bang, it's all over. That's it. A mother's grieving. Her only son gone. Can't bring him back. And you can't argue here. You can't argue here about cops shooting young boys down, even though that's a particular problem that needs to be addressed and is very serious and something that is of prime importance. But this young man, he took his own life. It looks like it was accidental. It doesn't point to anything in the way of intentional or anything like that. It seems like he really had a disposition for destruction, to put it frankly, to put it rationally. He wanted to show off and say, I got a firearm, I got a weapon, I got a gun. Look at me, and then I'm putting it in my head and bang. Like he didn't even expect himself to bang himself like that, but it just happened. And like I said, life is long, but it can be cut short. Life is long, but it can be cut short. A lot of people say, oh, life is too short. Life is too short. Have fun. Have a good time. Life is too long. Life is very long, okay? Especially if you make decisions for your life, and it makes it even longer. But it can be cut short, and in this case, sadly, it was cut short. So, if you really want to notice the possibilities of what it means, then you have to really look into the ideas that really bring into attention all the people that are involved. Like his whole entire family now has to remember. It's like a generation lost. He could have had like a wife and kids. No wife and kids anymore. She won't have a daughter-in-law. The mother won't have a daughter-in-law. She won't have any grandkids. This is sad. It's really sad. And all because of poor weapons handling. That's just the base. That's just it. There's no other way to put it. He didn't know, the obvious, reasons of keep the guns on safe, and don't point at anything that you don't intend to shoot. There's a mantra, like there's a list. I'm gonna say them. I can't remember what it is. I'll look it up. It's a quick guide. Treat, never, keep, keep. That's the best way to address this. Treat, never, keep. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point a weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot. Keep your trigger finger straight and off the trigger. Keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. Very important. Very sad that this young man did not follow those very important guidelines. Because weapons aren't the problem. You can't blame, the gun. It's the gun's fault. We should have lesser guns. We should have stricter gun laws, more regulations on guns. No, we need to have more common sense, understanding of how to best keep our children and even adults safe when handling firearms. That's just the facts. That's just the reality. So we have to, understand the fact that we are so, by this country, we're so, split. Some people are just, gun lovers and just, will do anything to hold on to their guns. And I agree with that. I side with that more. And then there's the other faction, the people that want to get rid of guns completely or have great regulations and restrictions on guns and stuff like that. It's a tool, just like a knife. I could poke myself in the knife. Excuse me. I can poke myself, with a knife, or slash my wrists, or slash my throat, or I could use it to cut my steak. I mean, it's all in the user. It's not in the tool. It's all about the user. That's all it is. That's all this is about. This is about the person behind whatever tool it is, whether it's a knife, a gun, I don't know, a nuclear weapon. That'd be killing even more people. But if you direct it at your own people, then that'd be horrific, beyond horrific. But that's what I'm saying about firearms. This young man, he could have had a career as a rapper. He could have had a career, he could have been a platinum selling, diamond selling, famous, rich, wealthy, whatever the case may be, rapper. Instead, he's a corpse. His whole their house was full of love and happiness and joy, allegedly, and all of a sudden, one shot rings out and he becomes a corpse. That's what I'm talking about. That's how sad the situation is, and why it's so important to look at guns as it should be a splendid thing. It should be a good thing. Guns are great. I love guns. I can't use them anymore because I'm crazy. I can't legally own a firearm. I have bipolar disorder. You're blocked from that. And I accept it. I'm like, okay, I'm not in a region where I really need a gun anyway. And they said, you know what, just use a baseball bat. So I guess, practice my SWAT, my hitting stance. I make light, but it's a serious situation. People don't realize it. They don't understand it. Or they evade it. They evade the reasoning, the rationality that's involved in all of this. They evade the consequences that come with firearms. Like I said, I'm looking at right now, Twista. He's a firearms instructor. The Twista Gun Coach Experience. He's got rifles. He's got pistols. What will you learn? It says firearm safety, shooting fundamentals, proper stance, proper grip, proper aim, proper trigger control, how to draw from a holster, defensive strategies, and most of all, how not to be afraid of your gun. 9mm firearm included, but students may use their own firearm if insured. Must bring 100 rounds or 9mm arrow, not included. 22 LR rounds and firearm used as well. So he's very serious. He's on a mission. It's called Gun Champ, his school that he has. So I think that's really a boost. I think that for the future, so this doesn't happen again for younger kids that are playing with a gun. Oh, what does this do? Bang! Like that should never happen again. This shouldn't be a repeat situation. This should be one and done. This should not happen anymore. Like no other family should grieve over somebody that was mishandling a firearm. That's just facts. Firearms should be, a sense of a relief of stress. They should be a defensive mechanism. They should be a defensive device. They could guard your life. They could save your life if you use them properly, not the other way around. You use them improperly and then it takes your life. That's horrible. That's horrific. That's sad. It's really sad and it's really despicable. That's what I think is, very crucial to being somebody that was in the military that handled a lot of weapons. I handled everything from an M16, which is just a LM gas, a lightweight magazine-fed gas-operated air-cooled soda-fire weapon, or otherwise known as a rifle. And the closest thing to an M16 is the civilian AR-15. I never fired an AR-15. I only fired M16s. I put a lot of rounds downrange. I fired M240 Golf and the M249 Saw, which is a squad. Wait a minute. Let me see. M249. Squad automatic weapon is his name. Is a Saw M249 light machine gun. So I fired one of those, and those are some bad boys. I threw grenades, and if you're not safe, you could be in big trouble. Who's this? Catboy Kami, Snowball. I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. I have no idea what you're saying. I have no clue. What are you talking about? But yeah, so I tried to fire as many things as I could, understand as many things as I could. I think you're pretty much forced in the Marine Corps. What am I saying? I could. I had to. I had to learn how to fire all these weapons because they would be used most likely in combat. So that's the weird, goofy, gooey, ooey gooey, weird place we're in right now. Because we all know that vets, people that and police, it's police especially, are they're kind of like looked at as like, but military is like, it's not Vietnam era anymore. It's not even the Gulf War era anymore. We're in a new era. We're in a new era. Iraq and Afghanistan. Come, get our discounts. Come on, there's discounts for your food, for your clothing, for everything. Come on, get our discounts. That's the tenor that we're in right now. But we kill people. That's the serious thing that has to be said. We kill people. That is the thing. With guns, with firearms. We are not murderers. We are killers. And that's the weird space where people have to say, "Thank you for your service." That's all. Thank you for killing people that would have killed me first. That's what they did on September 11th, 2001. That's the reason why we're in this. That's the reason why we started this shit. And retaliation. And then we went to Iraq, and that's a whole different other situation. I'm going far off. All right, who is this? Give last. I check my firearms every day. As you should. Check your firearms every day. You're probably a responsible firearms owner. That's what you're supposed to do. In CLP, everybody knows what CLP is. Cleaner, lubricant, protector. CLP will keep you in good standing, especially when you're in the military and you're in zones like the Middle East or the Southwest Asia, if I like to call it, because it gets the desert air and the sand and everything just is a menace. They're a menace to the proper functioning of a firearm. So that's something to keep in mind. But I know I went off on a wild tangent just to get to this point, but it's all about weapon safety. It's all about safety. It's all about understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. And remember, I just had it. Hold on. I just lost it. Hold on. I'm looking for it right now. Hold on. Never treat, keep. Never put your enemy, your firearm, anything you don't intend to shoot. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Keep your finger straight and off the trigger. Keep the gun unloaded until you're ready to use it. Beware of what is beyond the target. Make sure there's nothing in your way. This is a little different. Never take your concentration away from the fact that you're holding a deadly weapon. That was a little bit more in depth. I was looking for the treat, never keep. So we have to keep that in mind. We have to keep that, we have to keep that in mind. Treat, never, keep. That's it. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Keep your weapon on fire until you intend to fire. Those are the biblical rules of firearms and weapon safety. And sadly, this young man didn't take heed to that. And he's dead now. And his mother has to grieve the fact that he was not killed by police. He was not killed by his friends. He wasn't killed by, the ops. He wasn't killed by anyone but himself. For what reason, we may never know. He may have been going through troubles. I don't want to put that I want to put it out as facts. I'm just speculating here. I'm just saying he could have had some kind of issue with a girlfriend, and he was like just showing the world, I'm hurt. I'm feeling bad. I'm just speculating here. This is all alleged. This is not the facts. I'm just giving you examples of what it is. But I think he had every opportunity to really understand what it meant to be somebody that knew what to do with a firearm, and he didn't follow it. He may have had lessons. Where did he get the gun? I got questions now. Did the mother know he had a gun? Did she know he had a weapon, a firearm? Why wasn't it on, unloaded, on lock, on safety, in a safe box, in a lock box? I'm trying to think of the term for it. The sentry boxes, a safe. Yeah, that's it. A safe. Why wasn't it in a safe? That's my question. So, hail and farewell to this young man who could have had a bright future. He could have been one of the top hip hop artists. He could have had the potential. He could have got beats from anybody in Virginia. He could have got Neptune beats, Timbaland beats, Knots beats, Lex Luger beats, all kinds of instrumentation and instrumentals from him. But now he's dead. And he can't receive that. He'll never be able to rock out stages. He'll never be able to see how many women he could possibly get over some time. He may never see the fact. He will never see the fact that he could have been a loving father. But this is the risk. This is the risk that I'm talking about. It's a rarity, but it's not impossible for your child to die, for you to outlive your child. Life is long, but it can be cut short. I will say that to the end of it. Just remember that fact. Remember that as a solid fact, as a reality. It's something that is very crucial to remember, to know, to really take into account. So I think, with the amount of people that do this, it's very scant. It's not a lot of people. But the families don't think that. They don't think, oh, this is just a rare occurrence. Doesn't happen that much. It happens, and it shouldn't happen. That's the case. Why did you have one up in the chamber? Oh, why did he have one up top in the chamber? I don't know. Give last. I don't know. All I know is that that's the case. We both know that's the case for pistols. When you have pistols, you always have one in the chamber, and then you have the rest of the magazine. And I think he had the one in the chamber because he either didn't know he had it in the chamber or he didn't realize it. I don't know. I don't know, but I want to say rock and power to the young man. Hopefully his mother will find comfort and grace in all this, and still be able to come out of it with some sense of semblance and respect and regard. Okay, off of that story, moving right along, just transitioning. I think we have to talk about this. This is a little bit lighter, kind of serious. Not is tragic or anything like that, but the inflation. We have to talk about inflation, and what's so cool about inflation for me is that I get Social Security checks. I get deposits I just got one today. I get a Social Security. And why is inflation so great for people who get Social Security? Well, it's this little thing called COLA, and that's an acronym for Cost of Living Adjustment. That means every time there's inflation, that the cost of living goes up. My pay goes up. Not that doesn't happen to everybody, especially people in private sector jobs or positions. Inflation allows me selfishly to get more money whenever inflation increases. So it's good for me. May not be good for everybody. I realize that, and I say it in jest, but I say it seriously at the same time. I think it's very beneficial for me. I live a wonderful lifestyle. I don't have to punch a clock to push a mop to get the guap. I have a very steady stream of income. I have actually 4 streams of income: 2 government, 2 private. And the government hasn't touched any of my money. The only tax I pay is Medicare. I don't pay income tax. I don't pay payroll tax. I don't pay for Social Security anymore. I'm reaping the benefits of that now. I get money from the federal government from my Marine Corps days, because I have bipolar disorder, like I said earlier, and that's the way of showing how I have the wherewithal, the reasoning behind the deposits I have, because I was sincerely affected by my tenure or my stint within the Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps. So I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate. There are a lot of guys that are fighting, trying to get their benefits. All I can say is find yourself a fighting Irishman from Boston. Find yourself a fighting Irishman from Boston. He'll work it out for you. He'll come through. He'll be the one that'll show you the reality, the truth of all this. I put his name out there, Michael James Kelly. Michael James Kelly of Boston, Massachusetts. He's a great lawyer. I never met him a day in my life, but he handled my case. He sent a guy out, when I was in the loony bin, the booby trap, the nut hut, the puzzle factory, the cuckoo's nest, all whatever you want to call it, a psychiatric ward, all of that. He was like, "Oh, so you want Social Security?" I said, I didn't say you goddamn right, but I was like, "Yes, sir." I was like, yes, I do want Social Security. So he had to go back out to his trunk in his car and get the paperwork on that. And I was like, shoot, that just makes sense to me. That why not? It was a weird situation because I'm like, Why didn't he say, look, you also have the opportunity to get Social Security? He's gonna ask me, do you want Social Security or not? I was like, no, I don't want Social Security. No, no thanks. I don't want extra money. I use that Social Security. I use almost, I don't know what percentage, maybe 40 to 50% of it, half of it. I use a great deal of it every month, and it dwindles down because it goes down a lot. You're not gonna get a whole bunch from the government. They're gonna stop. They're gonna impede you. They're gonna slow your roll a lot. They're gonna slow your roll a lot. So get as much money as you can from the United States government. They've been ripping off private companies for all this time, ripping off CEOs and high level officials and corporations, and taking their money, their hard earned millions and billions of dollars that they earned themselves, and they have so much money. We have to take it from them because what is the incentive? What's the incentive for kids? What do you want to be when you grow up, Jimmy? Oh, I want to be a CEO. Oh, really? Well, don't you want to be a meter man? A meter man or something like that? Don't you want to be? Don't you want to be something else than a CEO? CEOs, I don't know. They're kind of shady. I don't know. That's the attitude that is brought out by a multitude of people. That is the exact ideal that people hold for CEOs and people that run and own companies, small or large. Big. They like to say big tech, big auto, big everything. Anything that earns billions of dollars, anything that earns hundreds of millions of dollars is big. Anything that earns a few $1,000,000, maybe 5 million, 10 million here, that's a small business. That's not really a big business. We have to have a big business. We have to have a small business Saturday. There's no big business Saturday. They make their money anyway. They'll make it anyhow. That's a different status. But I just want to say how I have great affection and great respect for the millionaires and billionaires who've earned their millions and billions, who deserve their millions and billions because they sweated, they put in the sweat equity, they put in the time, they put in the hours. I said this before, like Bill Gates, who slept under his desk. He had some coffee on his desktop, and that's what fueled him in his early days. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in the garage working on different tooling of the Apple computer. That is just inspiring and enlightening and empowering to anybody that wants to make millions and billions of dollars. But then you have the government and IRS come in and say, you have to pay your taxes, you have to pay your taxes, you have to pay your taxes. And then you have people like Mark Cuban, who is a dunderhead, and it says, you just pay your taxes, just pay your taxes. Like he has no understanding of the tax code, and you don't even have to have a full understanding of tax code. You can be a 6-year-old and understand taxes. That they're completely predatory, and they take away from the idea of business. That's the whole notion of being not even the people behind the IRS, because the IRS is actually noble people. They are actually noble citizens that try to make you have more money. I have money from just take my word for it. I was going to show you a check, but I have a check worth $4,000 plus from the IRS. They try to give me money back, because it was like this. Okay, look, this is how it went. I was making money from the government, right, in the Marine Corps. Then I retired. They gave me $9,000 as a retirement bonus. Then I blew all that. I spent every dime. Then I went to go get 70%. I went to get 50%, 70%, and 100% for my disability. And they're like, whoa, you blew all that money, right? We need that back. I was like, what? I just spent all that money. What are y'all doing needing it back? And they never really explained it, but they just said, we need it back. And I paid it. I paid it every month. I made sure I paid, it was like, I don't remember. It may have been like $250 a month or something like that, but it was over years. It was like from 2011 to like 2017 or 2018, 2019, something like that. And it just accumulated over time, and that I must have overpaid them, and they're like, whoa, here, hey, you're supposed to get $3,000, and then they switched it and it became $4,700. So I was like, all right, that's the IRS looking out, because they remind me of the Winky Guard. The Winky Guard is the Winky Guard and the Wizard of Oz are those those guys. They're in the Wicked Witch's castle. And so when Dorothy's, if this might be a spoiler alert for somebody, but she throws water on the witch and she melts and she goes away. And then the Winky Guard guy's like, "You killed her. You killed the Wicked Witch of the West." And then Dorothy's like, I keep killing these witches and I'm not even trying to. But I just killed, I killed her sister, and then I killed her. And then it's like, I didn't even really mean to kill her like that. Like, I knew she was evil and despicable, but it wasn't even my intention. It would have probably been better if it was her intention. But anyway, so, they're like, she's dead, she's dead. Like, the Winky Guard were glad because they don't have to listen to her mess anymore. Like, they could go on with their lives, whatever they had to do. But that's the government. The government is the Wicked Witch of the West, mostly, for the most part. I mean, other parts of it are proper, like the military, the police, and the law courts. That's the only proper function of government. And it's, proxies, like the CIA and the FBI and stuff like that. And law courts across the land, not just the Supreme Court. But, so I think, with the government being like the Wicked Witch of the West, it's like, it's fear. It's fear. It's afraid to say, if we give up, if we relinquish all the regulations and controls, and there's zero income tax, zero payroll tax, zero taxes except on consumption of certain goods. They are afraid to see what that would be, what that would entail. But I would say it would be amazing. We would have an amazing existence, especially in the United States of America, which I'm speaking of primarily. I'm speaking of a complete laissez-faire capitalist society. One that is governed by a ruling body that protects individual rights. That would be it. That would be all. That would be the end of it. And a lot of people say, well, what if people don't pay their taxes? What if people don't? And that's what taxes mean. Taxes are payment for governmental services. And what if people don't pay for government payment, make payments for governmental services? Well, then the country shouldn't exist. It should fall into the ocean. It should crash. Everything should go to hell. Because I think people will make a rational decision, a selfish decision, and say, hey, wait a minute. The government protects me from domestic criminals, foreign invaders, and settles my disputes rationally in the law courts. I kind of like that. I think that's a good idea. I think those are good reasons to have a government. I'm gonna pay $5,000 every year. I'm gonna pay $10,000. I'll pay $1 million. Whatever the makeup or the ideal of what somebody creates, whatever wealth creation they have, on whatever level. That would be the point of knowing what it would be and how it would function. That's the true hallmark of what government and a true government would look like, how it would function, how it would be perceived. But we don't have that, sadly. We have taxation. That's the reason why we have a deficit and a debt and inflation for y'all. I mean, inflation is pretty good for me. I'm not going to knock inflation too hard. It's pretty good for me, unless you don't want me to have money. If you don't want me to have money, you can say, call your congressman, call up your senator, write a letter, not an email, no text message, no tweet or X tweet or whatever the case may be, no Instagram post to the government. Just write just like a handwritten letter to the government, saying, you know, we don't want Skylar Saunders to make any more money. He made enough money off of our backs. Say something like that. But yeah. So inflation is good for me. Maybe not so much for you. It's pretty good for me. I don't have to buy a lot of things. I don't have to buy gas. I don't have a car. I don't have to buy repairs. I don't have to buy, you know, or increased insurance. I don't have to, you know, update my plates every year. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do any of that. I live at home with my parents. It's a beautiful existence. It truly is. Until I get to that next level, you know, when I get out of here, see what happens first, you know. But I think, you know, this is a very, you know, important part of looking at life. Looking at, you know, they got they got so many people talking about the differences between inflation and, you know, the rest of the healthcare of the country. Not healthcare. I'm saying the healthcare of the country. I'm saying the nation. Its abilities and inabilities. So, I think that, you know, it's a weird kind of situation because they're saying, you know, they're cutting rates, and the sad part is, you know, there's people. Here's a article. How has inflation hit your finances? 10 people get candid. One guy said, you know, his income is $5,000 before he was laid off, then received 14 weeks of severance. Rent $2,500, age 33. His name is Varun Valeri. I guess I'll say his full name because he's on a damn website. He's on Wall Street Journal. I'm getting this all from the Wall Street Journal. He says, I got laid off about 4 months ago. I have seriously cut down my external dining and expenses. I moved from a 1-bedroom to a studio. I was paying $4,000 in rent. Whew. I used to have an EV, but I switched to a gas car. I figured I'd try to cut down on my burn rate and get a cheaper car, but the gas is just so expensive. Here we go. When I lived in New York, I used to joke that you step outside your house and you spend $50. Now in San Francisco, you go out for drinks and it's $100. You go out for dinner and it's another $100. It's facts. I don't know what these people's income is. Seriously, I don't know what they're talking about with their income. Their income is saying it's $20,000. Ken Mandler, at 69 years old, small business owner, employment agency. His rent is $2,800. He says, I read about inflation all the time. But who the hell cares? 3% inflation? We've seen 15% inflation in the late 70s and early 80s. 70s, early 80s. We've been through worse. I've never owned a home. Raised my daughters in an apartment in Sacramento. I do not understand the obsession with buying a house. Very clear. Let me stop right there. That's the sadness that we are in right now. That we have to own a house. That's part of the American dream. That you have a house and 2.5 kids and a Chevrolet in the driveway, or a Ford in the driveway, and a turkey in the oven, and all kinds of bullshit like that. The American dream is what you make it. It's, if you want to be a data miner, a crypto miner, that's your American dream. And you want to live in an apartment, that's your American dream. If you want to be a shopkeeper, and you just want to make, you know, $35,000, $40,000 a year, that's your business. That should be American dream. That's it right there. I'm putting it in dollar amounts, but that's really what it should be. Salute to you, Rick James. I appreciate you, but I'm on a roll, sir. Appreciate you. Make sure you tell more people about me. He says, I help find state government jobs at state Steve Jobs workshops. A lot of my clients are laid off by the big corporations. My clients are mostly in their 50s and 60s. These big corporations do not laying off people based on their ability. They're cutting their by pay. And who's the first to go? The people who are making their peak wages. And as they should. That's an obvious thing to do. The company should pick, the people that make the most money. That's just the truth. Income for I'm looking for somebody that makes more than me. I don't know what they mean by income. What do they mean by income? $10,000, $7,000, $7,700, $7,500, $2,000, $3,700, $5,000, $6,500. I don't understand. I don't know. But I do know that there are, different ways of looking at all this. And like I said, if we just get past the regulations and controls, especially, then taxes, but especially regulations and controls, because they inhibit, they throttle, they totally dismantle the entire ecosystem of business. It makes it very difficult. It makes it very strange to be in a country that has the means, has more than might and power, that can, crush its enemies, but fails to do so. That can, take, allow people to get off of welfare and stuff like that. But that welfare recipients aren't the issue. It's the government. It's the government that's propagating it and saying that you can't work, you shouldn't do that, you can't, you shouldn't, you should just sit back, watch Maury, eat some Cheetos, and just live your life like that. And that's no way to live. No kind of life is like that. I mean, I get money from the government, and I try to do these shows, which do garner me money. Don't get it twisted. I do get paid off of these YouTube shows, and it goes undetected by the IRS. I can say that with certainty because I haven't been sent one piece of paper stating that I should pay my taxes, and I will. If they ever send it, I will happily pay for it because I would not like to go to prison. But especially by Cash App. Cash App says, as long as you have a personal account, they don't really care how much money you make. They're never going to investigate how much money you make. Now, if you have a business account, then you would have to look for, taking in funds and transferring them into tax dollars. That's the truth to it. So, with inflation, we talk about a lot of things, but we hardly discuss the fact that, they're saying we trod through the streets in San Francisco to ask people how much they make, whether it feels like enough, and their plans for the future. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. The answers have been edited for clarity and length. Income is monthly after taxes. Income is monthly after taxes. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, so he makes $60,000. He makes, what was that? 20, 21, 12, over 6 figures. Income, that's like that's like $50,000. Some people make it like $120,000. So I understand it now. I can concur with what they're saying. At first I was like, what kind of income is that? I don't know what they're talking about. So it's monthly. It's a monthly income that they're saying. So that makes sense. That's a better description than that I had before. So that is encouraging and discouraging all at the same time, because you want to make as much money as you can, but the more you make, the more they take. That's like a classic mantra. That's a cliche. Everybody knows that. But it's like I said, regulations and controls. If you free up the economy, oh my God, allow these things to happen, guess what will happen? There'll be a prosperity and growth. Could you imagine? There'll be people that will make money. You can be selfish. Because people are self-interested, but maybe not rationally self-interested. And people are, want to like play, they want to, use kumbaya and hold hands and go around the campfire. But they play their lives like it's Texas Hold'em. They keep it tight to their vest and a poker face. Pause. No Diddy. But yeah. So it just takes a lot of mental strength to really grasp, to really understand the power behind the dollar. So these people are aged from 30s to 40s, 20s. Marketing and residential real estate as one job. Sanitation truck driver. He makes more than her. I've always said this. Jonathan George. He's 55. Sanitation truck driver. Income $7,700. Mortgage $1,700. I'll say his story. My wife and I make good money, but I worry for my grandchildren. I'm trying to teach my 16-year-old son financial literacy, but everything is so expensive and it keeps going up. We used to take 3 vacations a year. Now we take 1. But we make up for it with little weekend trips, sometimes in San Francisco to play tourist again. California is too expensive. It's just too expensive. There are taxes on everything. My wife and I are considering moving to Arizona or even Texas. We're Democrats and those are red states, but we're willing to make that sacrifice. And here we go. We have to say sacrifice. We have to sacrifice. I have to do one thing that I don't want to do instead of doing something that I want to do. And they think that's a sacrifice. Well, this is the big secret. This is the secret ingredient, kids. A sacrifice is to give up a lesser thing or a lesser value or a non-value for a great. Give up a greater value or for a lesser value or a non-value. That's a sacrifice. So if he were to move to Arizona or Texas, red states, then that would just be his business. That would be a good thing. That would be something that would be of importance. People are underestimate the strength of the dollar these days. Yeah, I agree. Because I just said that, Rick James. Then we have Maggie Bach. She has a composer last name. She's 25. Marketing and residential real estate. Income $7,500 a month. Makes less than a truck driver. I love that. It's just a rowdy. Rent is $2,400. I'm originally from Hawaii. The cost of living is very high there. Yes, it is. Higher than San Francisco. Groceries and utilities, just everything was more expensive because everything is shipped out to Hawaii. But rent is more expensive in San Francisco. A pack of salmon used to be around $20 to $22, and now it's closer to $30 to $31. I've also noticed that with specific grains, especially quinoa, they're being sold in smaller packages, but the prices have gone up. Yeah, so that's the case. That's what's shaping up to be. Here's Kevin Hall. He's 34. Independent locksmith. He as a locksmith, we had to raise our prices. It went from $100 an hour to a year ago to $200 an hour. The company charges that rate, and I get 25% of that. I get therapy covered through Medi-Cal. My therapist tells me, "Why don't you go on a walk?" And I say, "What do you mean walking? I need to work. All I do is work and worry about making money." My family lives in Palo Alto, so they're close by. I'm trying to build up a client list in San Francisco. When I'm in the city, I live in my car. Otherwise, I have a room in my locksmith's mentor's house in Napa, free of charge. So that just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, the reality of being in, this particular field. In all these different fields. It doesn't matter, what, you can be a truck driver, or you can be an independent locksmith, or marketing and residential real estate. Still doesn't stop the weight of inflation. But like I said, I benefit greatly from inflation, so I'm not gonna knock it. I can't knock it down. I can't really downplay it. And let me get my advertisements in. This is Rick James' favorite part, I think. My main man, Pang. If you want apparel, and if you want great food, CMOS, go to lifestrongapparel.com. lifestrongapparel.com. So he even says CMOS. Okay. So I've only tested out the blueberry CMOS infusion. Beautiful. Great product. There was no before taste or aftertaste. It was very smooth. It was like eating like jelly, but you knew it wasn't like, it had more nutrients and it had, a greater consistency to it. So it was better than that. It was better than eating like a preservative. So I definitely would agree with, making smoothies, making different shakes, different things like that with it. You just go the whole gamut. So definitely check out lifestrongapparel.com. Also, go to @BEEJACKSON5478 on YouTube. And tell them that Skylar Saunders sent you. Tell them that the goofy guy Skylar Saunders sent you. He's got near beer, chicken, and sardines on the grill. I don't think all three on the grill, but sardines definitely. And maybe a little bit of chicken too. So tell them that Skylar Saunders sent you. B. Jackson. Or Baja Jackson. Baja Blast, yeah, exactly. And of course, Rick James, get ready for the R. Kelly, get ready for sexy time music, all that he's gonna say. Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube. Tell him that Skylar Saunders sent you, the goofy guy. Make sure you have your significant other. You have a glass of wine. You guys cozy up to the fireplace. You'll put on this music. If you like Kim, Najee, Peabo Bryson, Whitney Houston, Sade, Anita Baker, so many others, you'll definitely love to hear those tracks. So definitely check them out. Tell them that goofy guy Skylar Saunders sent you. Also check out twitch.tv/DOTFOCUS1_. .focus_1_, not a long bar. If you want to advertise or sponsor for this channel, for this specific YouTube broadcast, go to SKYLERSAUNDERS@gmail.com. That's Skylar Saunders @gmail.com. And I got my first person hyped. He was my first person ever to join Skylar's 100 Club, which is contributing $100 or more in a month to the broadcast. He has a wrench, but he doesn't want me to do anything but continue to do my thing. So I have to definitely support and praise him. Also, paypal.me/Skylar Saunders, SKYLERSAUNDERS. That's paypal.me/SKYLERSAUNDERS. Also, Venmo @SKYLERIZED. And my favorite, Cash App, $SKYLERSAUNDERS1. So, I hope you've been enlightened. I hope you've been entertained. No, I can't take that. That's Mr. Troy Terrain. He used to say, I hope you've been somewhat enlightened. I hope you're entertained and somewhat enlightened. And sometimes in partying, I sometimes say, if you want to launch big ships, you got to go where the water is deep. Take care.